Alright, so here we are in Dreamworld. Looks just like our room back home. Got the same pictures and everything. Well, the pictures change constantly. But it is a bit different outside of the room, as you can see that everything has gone too crazy. And here we meet an extraordinarily interesting character, and one who plays a role throughout the game.
The Empress is dead. Her precious daughter Emily is lost somewhere in the city, and you will play a pivotal role in the days to come. For this I have chosen you and drawn you into the void. I am the outsider, and this is my mark. There are forces in the world and beyond the world, great forces that men call magic. And now, these forces will serve your will. Use this newfound power, my gift to you. Come find me.
Okay, so there we got a bit of interesting information. So we know he's the outsider. He's chosen us. We also know that he's chosen Dowd before. We don't know that yet, but he has. But the main interesting thing is, the outsider, his true form is actually that of a giant whale. And, you know, in this world, we use whale oil. We destroy the whales to get the energy to make civilization great. And the outsider is a whale, and you can find that out in Brigamore Witches. If you read the book, The Spirit of the Deep, it will tell you that his true form is the leviathan, which is a giant whale at the bottom of the sea, or a giant fish of some sort. You know, it might not be a whale, but I would assume so. With just, it makes, he's like the king of the whales, which is just very interesting if you think about it, because what the humans are doing to the whales is just so horrible, and you can hear that throughout the game, especially from the heart which he just gave me.
This place is the end of all things.
So we know that this place is the end of all things. So whoever the heart is has been to the end of all things, and the beginning, which is also this place. And you might not know, but the heart is actually Jessamine Kaldwin, which is the Empress, your wife, or, well, lover.
All of time's meaning is here. Neither seconds nor centuries.
And everything that comes from the heart is her memories, or some experience she had. And there's a lot of different ways that we know that the heart is Jessamine Kaldwin. Alright, and that's interesting because in the next mission, remember that line, this place will devour all the lights in the sky. Okay, because in just a little bit, we're going to hear something very interesting about that. I just fell off. I'm going to fall off again, aren't I? But anyways, back to the heart being Jessamine. So we know this is a couple different things, and those are that when you use the heart on the regent, or outside of the regent's level, and you point it towards him, towards the tower where he is, she'll say, the heart will say, I was a fool to trust him. And if you use it on Dowd, I cannot say that name for the life of me. She'll say, why have you brought me here? Am I supposed to forgive him? And there's other things like that we'll probably hear. And it just leads me to believe, I mean, it's fairly obvious, and possibly even, like, you know, confirmed at this point that the heart is Jessamein's heart. And you can tell from the next mission that we'll be on that she's neither living nor dead. She's trapped inside this heart. And if you listen to Piero's audiograph, he speculates that he made the heart, that the outsider took control of his body and used him to make the heart out of the Empress's heart. And so there's some interesting stuff with that. But the heart's voice acted by the same person as the Empress. And, you know, everything just goes to say that the heart is Empress Jessamine, and that she's not dead, she's in this half-dead, half-living state, and she's helping you out. And it's kind of this poetic thing, these, you know, if you two were lovers, which I believe you were, and that Emily is your child, it's interesting that you carry around her wife's, you're not your wife, but your lover's heart, and just that she's still there helping you out. And later on, I forget where it says this, if it's in a book or if it's the heart itself or someone explaining it, but I remember that somewhere you can find out that she can't be released until everyone that she loves dearly, she has great love for, has died. So the heart, her spirit is trapped within that mechanical heart until everyone she loves has died, and she has no more purpose of helping them or being there. Which, you know, maybe you give the heart to Emily after you die, after you grow old and die. Who knows? But she isn't dead after the end of the game. Or the heart doesn't go away, it's still there, which means that there's still someone that she dearly cares about, which has to be Emily.
What can I do for you?
So here we are, Piero. Despero. No, kidding. Not Despero. And so he wants us to do a bunch of stuff, and if we listen to what the heart says here, what Empress's Jessamine's memories are, which she knew a lot more about the city than us, apparently. I guess you don't hear Corvo's memories, but is that the Hound Pits used to be a place where people would bet on fighting hounds, and they would be tossed into the river later. The wine was filled with water to do it, and it was a very shady and underground, you know, area, which kind of foreshadows what it is now. These, you know, you think you're an underground organization of assassin. You're an assassin, and you're doing stuff for the Empress to try to put Emily back on the throne, but
good men have to do bad things.
good men have to do bad things. There we go. It's still a very shady and dark place, and as you go throughout the game, you know, you think you're fighting for these guys who are just all great, and they're gonna, well, maybe you don't. I didn't, but, you know, you kind of seem, it kind of seems like if this were a typical game, you know, everything would end up good, but then it all goes to pot, and everyone's killing each other, and that happens. So maybe it's foreshadowing that this is a dark place. It's odd.
Remember our cause and strike true.
But anyways, we're gonna skip ahead to the next mission and have a little bit of fun with that, because there is some very interesting stuff going on there. Alright, so I want you guys to hear something here that's very important and has to do with the Leviathan and everything going on there. So Samuel basically tells you at the beginning of every episode what's going on in the city and stuff, and personally, I don't like that. I would have preferred if, you know, perhaps he, you know, that just wasn't there and you had to figure it out for yourself. You were kind of introduced to it, but he gives you clues, you know. Now we know there's Walls of Light, and we know Granny Rags and the Bottle Street Gate, and we know where they are. And that's what bothers me, is that you aren't able to just explore it for yourself. But here we go. So we're gonna listen.
the river rushed in when the barrier broke. The whole district went dark. I will be glad to rest. At the academy, they cut the flesh of the dead and trap the lightning from the sky.
We gotta get to the right one. It's not exactly happening right away, which is alright, but we gotta try as hard as we can.
What have you done to me? My father had golden hair, my mother hair like ash. This city is built on the bones of the great ones. When the last leviathan is gone, darkness will fall.
That line right there. When the last leviathan is gone, darkness will fall. And we know that the outsider is a leviathan. That's his true form. And we know that that realm that he was in will devour all lights. And we learned that from the last thing, which I told you guys to remember. And so here it says that when the last leviathan is gone, everything will become dark. And to me, you know, it all meshes together. The outsider is the last leviathan. When he disappears, that realm that he is in will devour all the lights, and it's the beginning and the end of the world. So it's kind of saying that he's, you know, that's where the world began, in that realm, that dream state we were in, wherever that is. And that's where everything will end. When he dies. When he is taken out, when the last leviathan, the outsider, is gone, all the lights in existence will vanish. And it's interesting to think about. Anyways, on with the rest of the level.